Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got Prabhjot in the chair. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm great, I'm excited.
Cool. It's nice, man, nice. Yeah. I'm glad you are. What's the plan? What are we doing?
I just want to get a little shape up, a little trim. Maybe like a Timothee Chalamet style.
Okay.
I have some pictures.
Okay, yeah, Sam.
So kind of like, I want to keep it medium length still.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
That. And then this is too short, but I like the little style he has going on. It's a little cowlick.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, basically that.
Yeah, okay. So, they're all a little bit different, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. They might not look it, but to the untrained eye, they are. Mm-hmm. That is shorter on the top, and there's more length on the back and sides.
Okay.
The first picture is quite short on around the ear and the back and sides, and longer on the top. And Timothy's is long all over. Okay. So it's kind of like, it's almost, that to me would be like a stages of you growing your hair. Okay. If anything. And then obviously the other guys, it's parted and very heavily styled. Mm-hmm. That would take a lot of effort, you know what I mean? So out of them all, you're closer to that than you are to any of the others, right? Mm-hmm. So when you do come to style it like the other pictures, I think the first one has to be out the question, out the window, sorry, because that's too short on the edges. The second one could still be styled that way, but it might look longer than that picture.
One thing is, my hair is kind of unique because I don't have much hair here because as a kid, like my mom tied my hair really tight, so I like to keep it longer. So yeah. Okay, so you want to keep it longer. So would you want to brush it back then to expose that? You can. I don't know if it'll look that good, but whatever your judgment is, I'm open to it. Okay,
I wouldn't. I don't know. Yeah, do you know what? Do you want to be quite honest with you? This is not unique. This is I get this probably once a month. Oh, okay. Believe it or not, where some of these sides have either had traction alopecia of some sort, or where they've been tied back and it's just never grown back properly, or where it's gone completely. So it's not a unique thing, believe it or not. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's just how we manage it. Is what becomes unique about this look. Because some people have got some have got it right the way around, some have just got it on the sideburns, whatever. So in terms of a slight sort of shape up, what is it you're trying to achieve in terms? Because it looks very, if I'm honest, it doesn't look like it needs much doing to it.
I just need it a little shorter because sometimes it's like all in my face. So just trim it up a little bit.
Trim it up a little bit. Okay. How much would you like to lose off it? What are you thinking?
Maybe 1 or 2 inches. Is that a lot? Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe.
Especially with curly hair, because it'll shrink. So a couple of inches, let me use. I've got my little comb with me measuring. Okay, so 2 inches. Be 5 centimeters, right? So if we just to give you an example, right? If I pull this away here and I put that onto 2.5, you'll be losing that much.
Okay.
Which then you would be really limited to making it look anything like Timothee Chalamet, because that would shrink and it would just become a very tight curl, and it'd be very hard for me to thin out as well. So I definitely wouldn't go that much shorter. The only thing I would say though is if you're after something like Timothy's, you need more length in it to separate it. It's hard to give that amount of separation to short hair. So if you look at his when it's probably not styled out by a stylist, it's probably like a sort of floppy centre part. Do you know what I mean? With quite a lot of length in it, where I think it's probably maybe just a little bit longer what you've got now. Okay. I would say it's just because your hair texture is very different to his. His is created. Like, I'm sure he's got an element of wave in it, but his is created to look like that. You know, where yours just looks quite natural. So you're quite blessed, really. I'd like a little bit of your curl, but
we don't have to make it that short then. Whatever you think is good.
If that's what you're liking, I wouldn't do that too much. I wouldn't take too much off. But we can take it off areas though. So I think more than taking it like as in like an overall trim, why don't you look at the bits that are bothering you? So think about the problem areas now. So if you were to think about parts that are bothering you, where would it be?
Definitely the back. Yeah. It's kind of turning into a mullet.
Yeah. That is one thing that's doable, 100%. Yeah. You can take that fairly short as well, believe it or not, because it's the kind of shape that we're looking for. Anywhere else?
Maybe just take some volume out of the sides. Yeah. Because sometimes it's too puffy.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's about it.
Done.
Perfect.
Easy. So you don't always have to lose loads of length to make it feel and look shorter. Okay. Because when we start to shape this and thin this out and take away like the volume, your hair will look shorter no matter what. Like you'll look back on this video when it comes out and you'll see the before and after, and I guarantee you it will look a lot less big, even though we haven't took much length off in the areas that we make all over, if you know what I mean. Now it looks as though it is kind of top heavy at the moment, ish. I think the middle's shorter than the corner, which actually I think you probably need it the other way around for this look. I think you need more length coming over into the sides and the back to get that real separation into that messiness of that haircut. So I think you might, as we work through the sides and the back, as we start to connect the top in, I think this is going to stay the same, because it is quite, it doesn't seem short. Sorry, it doesn't seem long to me. It probably seems long to you. But on this look you're trying to achieve, this is quite a short layer here compared to the layer right next to it. It feels as though that's longer
I see that.
than the middle, or at least it connects at some point. But I feel as though that's longer than here, because if you pull that down towards the sides, you see where that finishes and where that finishes. It's quite a big difference in length, probably a good inch difference. So I think if we were actually to connect that into here, that would actually sit better. Because if you look at Timothy's hair, it looks very top heavy, whereas the top is here, which is the shortest point of yours, and the corners are the longest point. So I think that's probably being brought up from the corner, up into the middle, and connected straight to create that flow. So I think you'd probably add more of a centre part cut in than a Timothee Chalamet top heavy haircut cut in last time.
Oh, that's perfect.
So it's very much, it's only a tweak, but it's a good enough tweak to change what you need.
Would it be fine to have like a 70, like 30 part, not like directly in the middle?
100%. Yeah. No, right. I think you've actually had a centre part cut in last time. Not now, not this time. I would never cut a parting in. It's one thing I don't do, because you can create your own parting. When you've got enough length in your hair, if you cut a parting in, you're limited the whole time for that parting. Whereas when you don't cut a parting in and you get completely uniform, the parting will change daily. So like, for example, I'm growing my hair out, right? My parting changes from here some days, so sometimes it falls a bit like that. Sometimes it falls right over there and separates like that. You see the way it's got that kind of movement? Sometimes it does this angle. It's just, I've just got a mind of its own. But I haven't got it cut into one. I just do this and just go with however it wants to fall. And it makes life a lot easier. And it suits you within a day. If it's going to fall, it's going to look good, you know? So I would always just do it uniform. And then you can decide where you want your part. Everyone's a winner then. All right?
Let's do it.
Sweet, man. So I'm going to start off by creating a horseshoe section. Again, we're separating the top to the back and side. It's quite important for this haircut that we focus on both elements, because we need it to be quite top heavy. So I'm going to start off by breaking down the sides here. Okay. All right? And then I'm going to decide what to do with the side bends. I'm maybe cut into the side bends a little bit and stuff, just to kind of balance it a little bit more. But I want to try and maintain a good amount of length. I just want to try and create a bit of movement in the sides. I'm taking a very wide section because I have to, because of the separation of what we've got. We bring everything into the middle, like so, and we just take away a bit of length through the middle. So that'll keep either side long, and cut that through. And that instantly breaks up the curl, because you've just created a disconnection through the middle, and everything else, so everything either side's long. So long, short, long, as you play around with it, all the shorter and longer bits kind of intertwine a bit more. Now this is a 2-finger width section now. I'm going to follow that guide as well. Keeping that out like that. We've got a guide from the right hand side as well now, and then we're going to angle our fingers a bit closer as we get to the occipital bone, where the round of the head is at the bottom, where the nape begins underneath the occipital bone. We are going to start to angle it in closer. So I'm going to tilt your head over slightly. I'm going to bring my fingers in like this, so my knuckles are getting closer to the neck. And that allows me then to create a nice graduation by maintaining length at the top, but then creating a graduation towards the nape. Because the thing is, like we said at the start, like Prabhjot's hair is not long, right? It is to him, but it's not to me. And when we're looking at styles and trying to create something, we have to really work on trying to add, again, like this haircut, separation to it. Because if we can't do the separation, we can't create the look that Timothee Chalamet's got, okay? So again, we need to leave length in areas where, you know, like on the sides, for example, or towards the top and the crown and whatnot. And then there's other bits that we can get away with taking shorter, like for example, the nape. Because the nape's always longer anyway, because of how low down the hairline is. So we can always get away with taking that a bit shorter. But again, we still need to leave length in certain areas to make it work. We'll use our guide from behind the ear to remove the length that we want. And this left-hand side is actually longer than the right-hand side, because a lot more length was coming off on this left-hand side. So good thing is we've got our guide in, following the same shape. There we go, like that. So I want to cut this neckline in first. I'm going to cut it in with the razor, I think. I want to go middle, shorter, and bring it out across like that. So start a bit higher up with the razor, just to start thinning it out a little bit. Thinking a collar length is usually about here. Put my line in first, like that. And then perfect. And go a bit above it, just to start to thin it out a little bit, so it doesn't become a blocky end, or a blocky finish. Becomes a lot more serrated. Try that neck hair as well. Just want to perfect the neck hair, get rid of all that. Now, I'm going to work on the razor to create the separation that we need throughout the hair as well. So I'm loving that shape because that all looks like it balances really nicely. The beauty of doing it with the razor, it looks so natural as well. It doesn't look like you've even done it. You've had it cut. Start by just separating sides a bit more. A bit more through here. So you can get away with thinning this out a lot more. Razor will do that, but it also add the movement and everything else to it as well.
And that noise is so satisfying.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
It's awesome.
It does sound good, doesn't it? Quite an interesting noise, like metal on hair, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
it sounds good though.
It's quite an interesting noise, yeah. Right, so let me have a look at these sides. I'm going to taper the side bends a bit, just a bit. And I'm going to cut it to the ear, because I think that will make everything look a bit more fuller. Doing it that way as well, all right. And then just give them a fuller effect. Up to the top of the ear like that. Like so. As that falls over, gives you a bit more of a fuller finish, I think. Right, so let's finish on the top now. So let's just balance and connect in the top. Let's go.
Perfectly.
Can you see it, yeah?
Yeah, I see it.
So you've got the length at the back is sitting really nice and tight. Perfect. You've still got length everywhere else. Cool, cool. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this to connect into the back and the sides. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this right out because I want to separate this top to the back and sides a little bit more. Right, just that little bit there. So I'm going to right out to the middle. There's a guide underneath. Well, scissor work earlier. I'm pulling that right out. Right over. You probably won't start seeing loads coming off now because of what we're looking at through the top. I think it'll be more just down to adding the texture in it more than anything else. See, not much coming off at the top bit where we said. Just above centre, because again, we're not cutting into a parting, tiny bit. And the same thing again on the other side. Let's just hit the top now, right through the middle. Make sure it's nice and even. Right now, so coming into crown, I'll graduate this in. Last thing, texture. So start with the razor now. So I'm going to put the razor into the back and side. I'm going to do it on this angle because I want to force the hair to come back a bit. So I'm going against the way I've just done it, okay? Nice wide sections. I want to keep a lot of weight in there. The weight is the thing that will aid the separation. Here or not, because it'll get weighed down with the product in, and it'll just separate itself. And then just slide into it to really break it up. Just like that. And let the fringe fall onto it like that. I'm going to style this with a product called Beachcomber, okay? So I use about maybe roughly, I don't know, maybe 10 pence piece size, okay? So like maybe a dime size, okay, something like that. And work it right through the hair. Now you could just let this dry naturally if you wanted to. You just walk out the door, let it dry, it's done, right? But I'm going to dry it for you and show you what you can achieve, okay?
All right, sounds good.
So diffuser on. I want you to set your head forwards for me. I'm going to dry in the fringe. Drop that hair in. And just keep drying it through. Now what you can see I'm doing, I'm just pinching it, right? Basically pinching the hair like this. I'm not scrunching it. I don't want to create loads like solid, like thick curl. I want to create separation. So I'm twisting it and pinching it to separate it. Curls more than it being like a big thick curl.
Exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah. Awesome, man.
Right. I just didn't know how to say it.
Right. So don't dry it fully. Dry it until it's almost dry. Okay. And then if you want to have a 70-30 part, mate, you can have it whatever you like. Right. It's just not cutting. All you then do is style it and create it how you want. So now you've got the Timothee Chalamet style haircut. Top heavy, shorter neck than what he's got, but that's your problem area. Who
cares? Would it be fine to like try and like lower this a little bit?
Do however you want, yeah. You can wait however you like. What do you mean, lower it into your face or
no, just like styling.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can literally flatten it out. You can have it however you want. It's entirely up to you. All it does, it just gives you. I just want you to see that you've got all that kind of texture and separation within the haircut, that you can have it a bit more flatter or whatever you want. Obviously, it's fresh, so it's always going to be a little bit bigger when it's fresh. But it would give it about an hour or so, and that's why I never dry it fully. Because if I dry it fully, it's got nothing to weigh it down. So if you let it dry a bit more naturally, like say put the diffuser on for three minutes or so and just let it kind of dry in a bit, and then leave it to dry naturally, you get a lovely finish. But what you get is that lovely separation.
It's going to grow in real nice too.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, it really is. But I'll show you the back. So let me just take this off, yeah? Okay. I'd like you to hold this mirror for me, okay? So I'm going to spin you around this way first. So use this mirror to see yourself in that back mirror there.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Nice,
oh, man.
So the neckline is just bang on the collar.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted right there.
But everything else is really nice and flowy, right? But I don't know with the razor because it looks as though it hasn't been kind of cut down.
Yeah, it's natural.
Do you see what I mean? Very natural, right?
I love how it layers on top of each other.
That's it. Because we got that graduation in there, you've got the movement sitting through it, but you've got the graduation sitting in there. So it's not just cut short and loads of length. If you see it from the actual side, you see the shape sitting in, which is perfect.
That's wonderful.
And that'll give you some good amount of time to enjoy. So yeah, it looks great, man. I'm really pleased with that. You picked a good style. I'm glad you kept it long as well. I'm glad you kept it long. Yeah, it's good. But isn't it crazy what we spoke about at the start when you're saying like I'd like a trim? Whereas we have trimmed it, but the sides are exactly the same as when you walked in apart. Like the ends are exactly the same as when you walked in.
Exactly.
The middle's pretty much exactly the same as when you walked in. It was just just alternating it slightly. And that's all you need to do.
Thank you.
Happy, yeah? Thank you, mate. Lovely to meet you, man. Thank you so much.
Good to meet you too.